All right, Kara, let's bring in Tegan Kline, co-founder and chief business officer of EdgeNode, a software development company behind The Graph, an indexing and query protocol organizing the world's open blockchain data and making open data a public good. You are an instrumental name in blockchain industry regarded in terms of your understanding of the underlying technology. Kara just showed us one digital asset. What I'd like to ask you is to explain to us the momentum right now that is in Bitcoin, Ether. Is that coming from a renewed enthusiasm that the underlying blockchain technology is working, is progressing, is moving forward?
Absolutely. And with the Shanghai update that we just saw, this is a massive milestone that's been in the works for 7 years, Ed, Caroline. And it really is kind of a paradigm shift that we're seeing. We're changing the way we coordinate and we incentivize that coordination online. And with this upgrade, it's just a massive proof to the industry on what is possible. And it's really exciting to see. But to your point, there are so many different projects in the ecosystem. I think Bitcoin has very much proven itself in terms of a new paradigm when it comes to monetary policy, a new system. And Ethereum and the Graph are very much in the Web3 decentralized internet category.
Before we dive into the Graph, your first protocol, talk to us a little bit about who's being drawn back in to ETH in particular. Is it retail that's being tempted? Is it institutional interest? Is it just people who are already committed, but helping amid pretty low liquidity at the moment?
Yeah, so many of us building in the industry, we kind of look away from the market and we just focus on building. And I think that this milestone accomplished with the Shanghai upgrade and us moving to proof of stake with Ethereum is a great example of that. So the builders have kept building. Development is at an all-time high. And now you're seeing kind of the market. There was a lot of FUD around because there was 15% of ETH that was staked in the beacon chain that was not liquid. You could not withdraw that. And now with this update, there was a lot of FUD around a lot of people would be dumping those coins. And actually Blockworks reported today that deposits are actually higher than withdrawals, with 18,500 ETH being deposited more than withdrawals. So that's an exciting moment. So I think and we saw ETH/BTC down 20% ahead of this upgrade. So it's kind of the industry proving a lot of people wrong.
Tegan, you sort of said you look away from prices, and I'm afraid to say you probably have to look away from your own token price to a certain degree, GRT, because it's well off its highs of more than $2 all the way back in February 2021. I'm sure many would say that was an extraordinary period in time, but how much does it matter that altcoins perhaps aren't participating in some of the rally that we've seen of late in ETH, in Bitcoin? And what do you do? Does it matter about the price of one's token when you're trying to build an ecosystem?
No, I think that GRT is a work utility token. So the concept is that you actually, you buy it only to use it in the network. And there's different roles. And again, this comes back to the incentive around coordination and coordinating online. So there are many different participants, hundreds of thousands of people across the ecosystem that are participating in these protocols, and they're being compensated commensurate to the value that they're putting in. And that's one of the really powerful pieces beyond just kind of looking at the market or the prices.
Of course, these sorts of protocols, and you talk about the thousands using it and the integration within dApps such as Uniswap. Yeah. Ed, a lot of this, the protocols, is about access, isn't it, at the moment? Democratization.
Yeah. So you basically, Tegan, through the Graph, I want you to explain to us what that is, but you want people to be able to publish open APIs, contribute to the network, for it to be, I guess, an open access platform.
Exactly. So the Graph is a marketplace for public data. So you think in Web 2, you have one Google. In the Graph network, you have over 400 quote unquote Googles. There's 400 different companies all around the world operating independently to serve queries. And when I say query, you can think of search in the Graph network for these applications. And there's over 700 applications on the Graph network today. And you pay for the usage of these applications in GRT. And that is the point of GRT, to be used across these applications. And it's exciting to see how many people are using these applications, and it's at an all-time high.
Tegan, I think one of the reasons people are really excited about this is it's kind of at the intersection of AI and crypto. Are you an AI startup, an AI entrepreneur in that respect?
I wouldn't say that the graph is a quote unquote AI project. It's very much about open data. But what's exciting around AI and the intersection with the graph and Web3 is that you could imagine having like a chat GPT on top of the graph with verifiable data and information. And that's really an exciting opportunity because garbage in, garbage out, even with AI. And now we can have really great arguments around the garbage using AI technology. So if we can verify that information, that's when it becomes really exciting. And so that's something that the Semiautic team, one of the core developers within the graph ecosystem, is actually looking at and working on. But within the graph, the indexers do use, many of them use machine learning today around pricing queries.
Caroline, I think on this program, you and I, because we're in the markets, we're tracking the value of any given time of a digital asset, right? But actually what we've learned this week, watch parties for Ethereum, is that actually people are really closely following the technology, the developments in the underlying technology. And that conversation is starting to creep back in.
That's what this show is all about as well, underlying technology. And taken to that point, how much does the regulatory environment impede some of the conversation about underlying technology, particularly here in the US?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the way the U.S. has been approaching the regulatory market. I think that there's a chance that they are stifling innovation and pushing that overseas. But I think one of the positives with some of the regulatory crackdown is that it's pushing people towards transparent systems, towards further decentralization, towards further censorship resistance, because this industry, it's all about giving power and control back to individuals as opposed to kind of locking it up in a centralized company. And that's really powerful. And I think the faster we can get there, the better. And so the regulatory environment is actually pushing the industry in that direction, which is a positive.
Tegan, great to have some time with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tegan Kline,
Appreciate it.
co-founder and chief business officer over at Edge.